whoever joins, we have a freestyle live stream today. We just want to talk about the thoughts and ideas that we've been having about coaching and life and ourselves in general recently. Veronica, what would
just we
you
are
like
not sure what will be the subject today, but
Yeah.
it's just the subject of our thoughts and our means. So
Yeah.
it's surprise.
So the few topics that we've been discussing a lot lately, and actually before we post on Substack or before we join a live stream, we have some backstage talks with Veronica about what we're planning to do, how we're going to organize that, and then we realized that it would be great to just record those conversations. They're uncensored, they're so raw, and so many insights come up from them for us because we discuss our clients' cases, our personal situations, and there is so many similarities and connections that emerge that we are trying to do something similar today. So what central topic has been for you, Veronica?
And just to share with you our emotions, because we've decided with Polina that when we try to do it by script, by thesis, by algorithm or preview, it's very difficult to share our emotions and our real pressure value that we can offer for you.
Yes. So from what we've been discussing lately, I think the topic of why there are so many shoots for women is the first one. I know there are some shoots for men too, but this topic is closer to our hearts, so that's probably one thing that we wanted to chat about today. And maybe another one when women do not feel heard and seen. When I was doing marketing, it was one of the central topics for women. I think it's a big mindset block, and it's usually rooted somewhere in probably some traumatic experience or some unpleasant situations they came up. They may not be too traumatic, but still just our gained experience or some limiting beliefs. When women do not feel heard and seen, when they're trying to market themselves, and they're trying to speak about what they do and trying to communicate the value that they can give, very often it's harder for women than for men, I think. What do you think, Veronica?
Of course, it depends. It depends on a person because there are lots of women now who will tell us that no, there is no problem. But I think, and from my own experience, it's really difficult to be heard by the others, especially when you start something new, when you start new business, when you start new career, when you start new project, even something perhaps new in your family. And it's difficult to be heard by the others, by her husband, by her children, by your children, and you think that you have lots of value to share. You have lots of things to show with others, but you're not heard. And after that, you become frustrated, and you don't know what to do and where is your place exactly.
Yes. I think that evolutionary process is a part of it. It's just the book that I've been reading recently, so I very often come back to this evolutionary theories that women are wired differently, right? And men are wired differently from women because we had different tasks and different responsibilities, which is duplicated by the other species in the animal kingdom as well. But we still have this. It's something that has been changed by society and modern progress and civilization. But still, there are some roots in the cause that I see coming from there. Because when women were responsible for the space, for maintaining safe space, providing food, meaning like preparing and distributing it, right? While men were responsible for getting it initially from somewhere. So they need more aggression, they need more goal-oriented mindset, looking for prey, for an animal to catch. While women needed this spread attention and multitasking to keep an eye on the children, to take care of the space, the shelter, to pick up plant-based food, right? Because this was women's obligation back then, as when men were mostly hunters, women were mostly gatherers. And we still have these built-in features in us. And sometimes we blame ourselves that we are doing something wrong. But very often I see that it's just a fact that we need to accept. Yes, this is the basic foundations that we are working with. Yes, we can work around it to make it more flexible, working better for us and for others. But still, we have something given that we need to accept and say, yes, okay, that's what I can do nothing about, but I can create how to make it work better for my needs now, because we're not living in a cave anymore. We're not hunting animals for food usually.
Yeah. As you know, I tell very often, and you know this phrase that there is a game.
Say it. I can get
yeah, that's okay.
I know some French.
Accept. Yeah. Whether you accept the rules or you don't accept the rule.
Yes.
There is a case. That's it's like in the game. And in my opinion, I think that for women, it's also very important not only to have the rules, the circumstances, the duties, but also we need communication.
That's the most important thing for me.
Yeah, and that's the thing that not every man could give us, really. Whether he's tired, whether he has no time or something like this, or he's not ready to be a good communicator at all. So it's, but for us, it's really very important. Polina trying to set your lighting.
I need a charger. I missed my phone.
No, that's okay.
Yes.
Voila.
I think the communication actually is the women's weapon. That's our main tool. Like, again, speaking about ancient times, right? If men were using some man-made tools like spears or other kinds of weapon to hunt, and they did not, it was harmful for them to distract their attention on communication or on keeping an eye on multiple things. They needed to stay focused, right? Like maybe they kind of did team building. I think their communication was mostly in agreeing who goes where and how they surround the mammoth or an elephant. And for women, it was different. We needed to build our world based on good relationships with the village, with the children, with other adults, with other women, with elders, with youngsters. So that was our main tool, I think, and still is.
and I can even I can give you the example from my client. she said, "My family, my children, my surroundings, my. It means that she doesn't tell our family, our children. She tries to keep it for herself, and she shows in this way that it's her image, it's her fantasy, what she would like to have. And sometimes there is no role of man in her life, really. Even that she has a man, she is a wife, but as well, she can't count on her man. Yeah, would you tell it like this? Yeah, count.
Is it also the feeling? Does this feeling that she has also comes from the fact that she built it mostly for herself? It is what was her need. It wasn't what he needed. It was what she needed. So maybe that's the difference in values. So his values are different. He values different things, and he may not be ready to put as much effort and time and energy into parenting, right? Or keeping the house nice.
It's like he
I get that.
doesn't do everything she expected from him. You see, that is the reason. We have lots of expectations, and very often we expect that our man, our wife, I don't know, there is Nick here.
Hi, someone's listening. We're welcoming you here. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. And we have lots of expectations, but very often our opponent, our man or woman, can't give it to us. It's impossible for him because even he can't imagine in what way to do it.
Yes, we all have different backgrounds. I remember from one book, from one psychological book, I remember a good metaphor where the writer says that all our previous experience, all our rules that we have for ourselves, all the gained knowledge and wisdom and moral codes that we have, she presents them in a form of a quilted blanket, like a quilt made from little different colored pieces of fabric with different patterns, and they all are kind of sewn together, and all people have different patterns, different colors, and we never know, right, if something that we value, that we have this piece in our design, if another person has the same, can pay as much attention to it and values it the same as we do. And that's how we match, actually, right? When we are looking for a partner initially, apart from this romantic, hormonal craziness, we do tend to find out, to find people who share the same values, because otherwise we won't be able to communicate and come closer to them, right? But sometimes those initial impressions are still different. And with years, with time, we may see that it was not what we expected, right? Or things get to transform. I think just recently I heard a quote, also from some researcher, who says that when a person is attracted to another person at the beginning of relationships, we tend to say, yes, I share the same things, I value the same things. So sometimes another person may be also living under illusion and the impression that, yes, I share the same values in parenting with you, or the same values in the level of material prosperity, right? Or the same moral codes.
Mm.
But the other person may also be lying to himself or herself
Mhm.
at this moment because of this romantic love stage. And sometimes it's an illusion that later transforms.
Yeah, and it's very important to do it on the very beginning of the relationships because, for example, when you are 40 and you start to cry that he's not okay, he's not as I would like to have. Yeah, he doesn't match with my expectations, and in this case, I very often I ask the question, and how it was when you met him, how it was. Perhaps it was different person, and it wasn't the same that you have now. Or did you speak to him about this or that? And very often I receive the answer that, yeah, really, he was the same, but just
Mhm.
I didn't put so much attention to this. And
Mm.
with years, I understand that not it's not a perfect match. I'm not okay with him, but my lovely phrase is that it's very important to be honest with ourselves from the very beginning till the end. And if at the beginning you didn't ask the question, why you ask the question now?
For me, it's also a tricky, tricky
Yeah,
topic.
no, yeah, yeah.
And I think that sometimes it's hard to compare what we're expecting from a partner now with what we were expecting like 10, 20 years ago. Because we get so many events happening, right? We make mistakes. Another person makes mistakes. And really, the values may be modified. Like the main thing will stay the main thing, but all those hurts that we get, all those minor traumas, right? Or big life changes, they all impact us, and they kind of keep keep forming our personality. As we do have those, like our body changes with time, right? We stay the same. Like people in their 60s can be recognized in their school photos
Mhm.
mostly, yeah, but the
Yeah.
bodies have changed. Like the main identity is the same, but there has been a transformation. I think that the same happens with our inner world and personality. And it's okay that before we might have been a perfect match for some time and we were able to function properly and efficiently and get satisfaction from these relationships.
Mm.
But I think that sometimes just things change and they can change for one person in the couple or for both in different directions because we are formed by the outer world and
Yes,
everyone
you are
has
right.
their own
But
story.
you see, very often we forget to ask the question. We forget. We don't ask. We don't understand what the other person wants from the other side. Yeah. But for example, in our partnership, in business partnership, yeah, you ask the questions from the very beginning.
Mhm.
You try to review, you try to understand, you try to find all the gaps that you can have, yeah, in your future partnership. So why don't we don't do it in relations? I mean, in lovely relations. So just my advice is to ask the questions also, to ask, to understand, try to, if you know that it's the person with whom you would like to be,
Mhm.
it's very important to ask the the small steps, to understand the small steps or the small gaps that you could have in your life.
Mm-hmm. You mean little changes that you can switch, not something dramatic and big?
No. Exactly.
Yes, and for me, like what we discussed with you recently, like again, the wisdoms of therapy that I have done for myself, or of the studies that I did in psychology, I think the biggest is that we always forget that the only thing that we can change, that we can control, and that we can impact is our own attitude, our own behavior, and our actions. The only thing that we can do. And I still catch myself very often trying to fix my partner or trying to impact something else. That's it's not that we do not have agency. We do have we have our communication tool, but it doesn't mean that we can use it to change someone's personality like deeply, right? Like reprogram them on a deep level, like write a new code. No, we can just negotiate how we can function on the surface effectively, how we can use my personality, their personality effectively, so we do not hurt each other. We do not initiate more negative emotions than positive ones, right? Because then it starts feeling unsafe. It starts the dissatisfaction comes, but usually progress can be achieved by just tweaking some minor things, agreeing on something small, or saying to myself, "Okay, that's the tricky topic. I know that this behavior or this tone or this circumstance where I'm trying to talk about something small, I know that it can trigger something negative and something big in my partner because of his reasons, right? Or her reasons, whatever. And I can just tell to myself, okay, I stop doing this. whenever I catch myself doing it, and it's hard because I need to be in here as an actor and also as a director from the side, watching myself and telling to myself, okay, stop here, right? This is going in a wrong direction, or you are getting in the same script that you know it's not going to end well. Stop here. If I take myself out of this situation and just stop the conversation, that's not doing good, right? I've changed everything already. And this was a small act.
So the important thing here is that we can control ourselves, or we can impact on ourselves, or we can impact. Yeah, that's right.
We can impact our behavior.
Our behavior, but not the others. It's very important to understand. We could just change our view, our understanding of the situation, or how our reflection is, but not the other one. No. It's very,
we can try. We can offer the choice, but that's the other person who makes this choice, right? If we want them to choose this and they choose that, that's their decision, and we need to adjust.
And it works not only with husband or partner; it works with children. Yeah. Very often, I hear from my client that I would like him to do something. I would like she blah blah blah. Yeah, but no, it's not working in this way. We can say, I would like the situation for me will be changed, or I would like to change this situation, but I know that my reflection is blah blah blah. So we are the main hero of any story that we tell ourselves, and it's very important.
Yes. I mean, with the kids, I have 3. They're 13, 8 and 6, 2 girls and a younger boy. And I was so impressed by how their personalities could be seen at the very early months. Because when they were born, within the first month, when they just started smiling and crawling, where they could express more of their personalities, I remember that I think by months 4 or 5, at least, I was able to say that my oldest daughter, she was a grumpy child. She was always like this and very
Yeah, I remember.
testing everyone that she saw. She was like
Yeah.
looking at people, trying to see if they have good intentions. The second one, we called her weird. she, she was doing something unexpected. She was making faces. She was smiling when we were not expecting her to smile. So she was really a weird girl, we called her. And then when the son was born, he was 3 months old, I remember, and I was working at a nursery back then with him. I got as a baby teacher into a group of kids, into a daycare, where there were kids as young as 6 weeks old up to 6 months old. He was 3 then, and I was like one of the 2 teachers. And I remember he was crawling on this little green grassy carpet, and he was smiling like this. He was touching someone, trying to draw someone's attention. He was, I think at 3. Yes, he was learning to crawl or lying down. But he was communicating. He was a joyful child. We called him joyful. So 3 perfectly very different personalities. And that's what I do not have impact on. I cannot change that. That's their nature. But what I can change is our communication, like how we function as a family, how we distribute our responsibilities, right? Like house chores, like washing the dishes, keeping their pets, their schedules, what they how they manage their time, right? These are the things that I can impact in them, but that's not their nature. That's not their core. This is just how these are their functions, but not their inner pillar.
Yeah.
And this cannot be changed.
Yeah, I understand you completely.
That's the question
Because
of
I have
nature and nurture.
Yeah. Because I have 2 children, 2 guys, 2 sons, and they're completely different from each other. One of them is adolescent, teenager.
Mhm.
Yeah, is a teenager. Yeah, 15 years old, and the other the guy of 5 years old, and they're completely different because the first one, he has a poker face always. It's like without emotions, without something else. Really, I don't know, something strong. Somebody strong, very keeping his emotions in him. In him.
In control.
And yeah, and the little one is souriant, with a great smile, like yeah, yeah, and he's speaking a lot. He's very active, and they're really different guys with the same parents.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Voilà. That is our stories for today. Yeah,
Yes.
and I think we'll finish. And it's very important for us. I don't see everybody who is here, but Nick or somebody else who will listen us, tell us, what would you like to hear? What stories would you like to hear? Do you like this format already? Is it suitable for you? And what is your impression from our stories?
Yes. We're happy to hear and happy to stay in touch. We'll be experimenting with different formats. So whenever you see us talking online, that's what we're doing. Yeah, we're trying to find our voice. We're still in progress. Yeah. Happy to hear about what you are interested in and how you see stories in your life. And actually, with Nick, I think we had conversations on the notes about Buddhism, and I know it's a very different perspective, and the idea there, in as in other Eastern philosophies, is to shed the stories and drop the stories completely, because ego that's building stories is more of the Western philosophical concept. Yeah, but so it's very interesting to explore different views. So write us
Well,
something.
see you later.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.